What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We finally have the rework kits for HK47 and Hot Topic Bastila. We've got plenty to talk about there. We've also got a little bit of a change to the way Deathmark currently works with taunt mechanics and such. So there's a bit of stuff to cover in the video today. So we'll go ahead and dive right into the two kits first. And we'll go and cover Bastila first because she's the one who got the least amount of stuff reworked here. It's a pretty simple change to hers. So for her basic and her special, they're both the exact same. Wild Lightning still does the special damage and shocks the target and deals damage to all enemies if the target already has shock on it. Same with her basic, you know, it has the bonus crit chance for each active Sith ally. But one thing to note here is that she is losing the Old Republic tag, and she's gaining a new one called Sith Empire. Now we can do a lot of speculation on that, probably for another video another time, but the big thing here is she's no longer going to have that Old Republic tag, so she's no longer going to be the Old Republic faction, but looks like she's going to get this Sith Empire tag, and more than likely Darth Revan is going to get that too. And yeah, so the big change here is her special, Fear, 3-turn cooldown still. With this, inflict fear on the target enemy and another random enemy for 1 turn which can't be copied or dispelled. When each of these fears expires, inflict offense down, crit damage down, evasion down, speed down, expose, and stagger for 2 turns. These effects cannot be resisted. Now, what this means is that the fear that's going to land on the target and another random target, that can still be resisted. If it works just like it currently works with the stuns, it means that that initial fear can still be resisted. But the effects afterwards, once you get that fear landed on that target, you can't resist those effects. You can get tenacity up or whatever, those effects are still going to land after fear expires. All other enemies are inflicted with those debuffs, so offense, crit damage, evasion, speed down, expose, and stagger. They're all going to get those debuffs too. However, nothing here says that they can't be resisted. So you are still going to be able to resist a myriad of the debuffs here that come from fear. And fear, miss the next turn, can't use abilities, cannot evade, increase the cooldowns by 1, and fear expires upon taking damage from an attack. So the way it looks like right now is that you can either attack the target to make fear go away or wait for the target to move for a turn, and then they will then, you know, have fear expire and get all those debuffs on them. So it works a lot like a stun. They'll be feared, and then they can't really do anything. They can't counter, they can't evade. So it's a great way to counter teams that rely on counter, or basically pretty much if you know someone's gonna have like a big debuff or a big heal or revive coming up, you can put fear on them like Jolie or Hermit Yoda. You can go ahead and put fear on them, and then once they move, they then get all these debuffs, and that's gonna hurt them. So fear overall looks pretty good. It's a great way to help control the enemy team. The fact that it's going for 2 targets seems kind of iffy, but we'll see how this plays out in the real world. And here we go. Unique 1, Corrupted Battle Meditation, is the exact same, except the Corrupted Battle Meditation debuff can no longer be dispelled. Unique 2, Sith Apprentice. Only change here is that whoever's in the leader slot also gains 50% bonus potency now. So they still get this bonus defense and tenacity, and they still have the foresight for 1 turn with a Zeta, which still means that more than likely this Zeta is still going to be very bad. We still have to see what Darth Revan has with foresight, if there's any kind of synergy there, but there's some stuff in the next unique that we'll talk about too. So right now the only change to that is that the bonus potency, and right now the unique Zeta still doesn't look like it's worth it. Now here's the new unique, Force Bond. Final text: if Darth Revan is in the leader slot, Bastila and Darth Revan have plus 70% max health and health steal. Darth Revan also recovers protection from Corrupted Battle Meditation, and enemies inflicted with Corrupted Battle Meditation can't inflict debuffs on enemies when they use an ability, excludes raid bosses. This seems a little too strong. I mean, I've been a little reserved about what we're gonna see with these kits for these characters, and I think this right here kind of I'm not too keen on it, because that shuts down a lot of enemies out there, and it's basically a whole power creep. The fact that they can't inflict debuffs if Darth Revan's in that later slot, not a big fan of that. I mean, obviously this is going to further the fact that Darth Kevin and Fallen Bastila on a team together is more likely going to be the meta, but I'm still not a big fan of the fact that targets with Corrupted Battle Meditation, especially since it can't be dispelled either. I'm not a big fan of the fact that this can't, they can't put debuffs out, because that shuts down a lot of teams out there, and I'm not a big fan of that. So, if Jedi Knight Revan is on the enemy squad, Bastila gains advantage and foresight for 1 turn at the start of each of Jedi Knight Revan's turns. So anytime that Jedi Revan takes a turn, she's going to gain advantage and foresight. So we do have that, and I mean, there's nothing here that really synergizes with the bonus crit chance from advantage, but I mean, we'll see if something with Darth Revan and his leadership works into here too. So that's Fallen Bastila. Let's go to HK47. He is going to have Dark Side, Attacker, Droid, and Sith Empire. He's also getting the Sith Empire ability. And notice the Attacker ability right here. This is a big change because right now in the game, he is a support droid. So he's getting changed from a support to an attacker, which makes sense when you look at his whole kit. And they didn't put changes in green here because his entire kit has been reworked. Nothing here is the exact same anymore. So his basic, request, die, meatbag. I like that. Deal physical damage to the target enemy, gain offense up for 2 turns, and plus 30% crit damage against debuffed enemies. Special 1, Havoc. Final text, deal true damage, ignores defense, can't critically hit, to all enemies, half that amount additional time for each debuffed enemy. Then inflict tenacity down on all enemies for 2 turns. This attack deals 20% more damage for each Jedi enemy and cannot be countered. Now, one thing I forgot to mention here is that his new description says, a devastating droid attacker that excels at taking down Jedi enemies. So, he's going to gain, when you're fighting a Jedi Revan team, which is pretty much going to be all Jedi, Havoc's going to deal 100% bonus damage. It can't be countered, so General Kenobi can throw out his counter retribution ability, and no one can counter it. And he can then inflict tenacity down on all enemies for 2 turns, which is pretty great because that can counter the tenacity up that you're constantly going to get from Grandmaster Yoda. So that looks like a great counter for your Jedi Revan teams. Then you get to a second special, Assassination Protocol, a cooldown of 9 turns. Now, that seems like a nice long cooldown, but you'll see here in a second, we've got ways of mitigating that. Final text, dispel all buffs on target enemy, deal physical damage to that enemy. This attack can't be evaded and deals 100% more damage against Jedi. If the enemy has Deathmark or Fear, this ability's cooldown is reset. So, obviously, he's going to be used with Bastila Shan here, because Hot Topic Bastila, we gotta specify which Bastila. So, Hot Topic Bastila is going to have the ability to put out Fear, and when we talk about Deathmark in a moment, they have confirmed that Darth Kevin is also going to be able to apply Deathmark. We'll see about that. So, it starts on cooldown, so it automatically starts with a 9-turn cooldown. Its cooldown is reduced by 1 whenever an enemy is inflicted with Fear. So, Fallen Bastila, she can put out 2 sets of Fear with her abilities, and the overall cooldown for Fear is a 3-turn cooldown, so you'll probably have that happen twice before Assassination Protocol comes off cooldown. But we also don't know, there is some rumors that we're also going to see something with Darth Revan, because I believe in the newsletter they said he can also inflict Fear, or they hinted at something with the Fear debuff in him. So we'll probably see some Fear with Darth Revan as well. So both Darth Revan and Fallen Bastila are going to be able to help to mitigate the cooldown on Assassination Protocol. Now, we get to the bad thing, the leadership for HK47. We all knew this was coming. If you look at when they're talking about HK47, they said they are going to rework his current ability along with the rest of his kit. We knew this was going to happen. What we didn't know was just how bad his new leadership would be. I mean, it's bad, but it had to be bad. We knew it was going to get completely stripped down and torn apart, and it sucks seeing this new leadership ability. Droid allies have plus 30% crit chance, which is still the same, plus 20% crit damage, and gains 10% turn meter on a critical hit. So, gone is the 50% bonus turn meter on scoring a critical hit, so you can't have a droid use an AoE and attack again right away. You can use an AoE, score 5 crits, and get 50% turn meter, which is not that bad, and the bonus crit damage does help mitigate that a little bit. It's just, you're not going to see your HK47 droid teams and Grand Arena or Territory Wars anymore. At least currently, we're not going to see them. So when we get more droids down in the future, which they've hinted at, we'll probably see some new resurgence here, but as it stands right now, Yeah, it's. I mean, I'll be honest here. I was a little bummed reading this, but I understand they had to do it. I mean, as it was right now, the 50% turn meter boost with a critical hit, it was just too powerful. So I do get why they had to nerf it down to 10%, and they gave us a 20% bonus crit damage, which is a nice way to help kind of make up for it. But I have to cross my fingers and hope that in the future we will see something with droids become much more powerful in the future. So, moving on to his unique self-reconstruction, it has a Zeta on it now, and I can bet you what the Zeta is. Final text: when a buff expires on an enemy, HK recovers 5% health and protection. When HK47 uses an ability during his turn, it deals 25% more damage if the target has Deathmark or Fear. Now, if I had to bet, I would say the 5% health and protection is going to be the Zeta on Reconstruction, because you're gonna have the ability to get a lot of dispels on the enemy team between HK47. I'm sure Revan's gonna have some stuff. Yeah, it looks like you're gonna be able to do a nice amount of dispelling to a Jedi Revan team, and Jedi Revan teams are all about buffs. And with the amount of dispelling you're gonna be able to do on that team, this Zeta it's more than likely this is the Zeta, because it's gonna be stupidly good, because he's just never gonna die if you can constantly dispel. And his second unique also has a Zeta, Loyalty to the Maker. If HK47's leader is Darth Revan, HK47 has the following: plus 50% defense, offense, potency, and tenacity, plus 30% crit avoidance for each Jedi enemy. Cooldown of Assassination Protocol is reset the first time another Sith Empire ally is defeated, and enemies with protection up can't gain bonus turn meter. This, oh man, like, even if Darth Revan was some kind of generic run-of-the-mill character, the synergy between Fallen Bastila, HK47, and Darth Kevin already, it's stupidly good. We never saw this with Revan and, like, Jolie and Bastila. We're seeing it here with the Sith again. We're getting, like, a whole new, like, Sith Empire trio here, and I mean, this is going to be stupid. I mean, you're talking 150% crit avoidance on HK47 facing Jedi Revan teams. Whenever someone on the Sith Empire ally team is defeated, he automatically resets the cooldown on Assassination Protocol. And the Zeta, I will bet you the Zeta for this unique is going to be the enemies with protection up can't gain bonus turn meter, because that seems like something that would go for a Zeta. It's the really, really strong thing here. Because remember, again, your Jedi Revan teams, they have a lot of protection up between Jolie and Grandmaster Yoda. There's a lot of bonus protection meter, or bonus protection up going on with that team. So you do have that. So I think that between Hot Topic Bastila and HK47, we're going to get a very nasty meta with Darth Revan and his Sith Empire team. So we do see the Sith Empire tag, and more than likely we're going to see Darth Revan with a Sith Empire tag as well. That's more than given at this point. But we finally got to go over this. The changes to Deathmark and Taunt, this just popped right before I started recording. CG SB Crumb put out an update today saying, "Hi Holotable heroes, we'll be making some changes to Deathmark and how it interacts with the Taunt and Marked debuffs in preparation for Darth Revan, who will use the Deathmark mechanic. Confirmed. We've been suspecting it. Now confirmed, Darth Revan will have Deathmark. Currently, Taunt and Marked take priority over Deathmark, but Deathmark will be changed to have equal priority. So what does this mean? It means that pretty much you will not have to focus on the Taunt or Marked character over Deathmark. So if someone has Deathmark, but someone else has Marked or Taunt, that means you have to target those characters first. That's what he's saying here. But what this means is that now you can target either the Taunted, the Marked, or the Deathmark character. You can choose between the three instead of choosing either Taunt or Marked. So now you're going to be able to choose between the three, which is going to make some interesting things for your defensive battles with AI. So let me know what you guys think. Enough preaching from me. What do you guys think about these two new kits? What do you guys think about the potential with Darth Revan? Is this going to be some scary new meta that we're all going to be quaking in fear under, where you either have Darth Revan or you don't? Or do you think there's going to be some kind of parity between Jedi Revan and Darth Revan? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. As always, guys, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I will talk to you guys later.